allowing me to be here. I don't know how much time I have, but I'm going to try not to ramble. I'm a talker, so I tend to go on and on. I tend to go on a lot about this because it's something that's really, really important to me, and that is our family courts. I don't know what you've heard about me. I'm sure if you've heard anything, there's a good chance you've heard a lot of bad stuff. I hope you've heard good stuff as well. I'm sorry that I don't know more of you better, because for the last 14 years, and particularly since 2007, since I've moved over here to the North Shore, after I was released from 3 years of active duty, I have devoted my practice to family law and representing families, and in particular victims of domestic violence and children who are victims of abuse. And that's why I became a lawyer, because that's what I cared about. That was my passion. But fundamentally, at a cellular level, what I'm really passionate about is justice, because justice, the rule of law, is what ensures our freedom, and that is what this country is about. Without the rule of law, there is no justice, and without justice, there's no freedom, and that means that this country no longer exists. So I am absolutely devoted to the concept of and the implementation of practices that ensure each and every one of us have access to justice. I had an interesting conversation with someone the other day who, we were having a lively discussion, and he said to me, laws come from justice. They spring from justice. And as much as I respected this person and was enjoying the conversation, I had to politely disagree and say that is not, in my idea, where justice comes from. The laws are collective agreements about how we as a community decide how we're going to resolve disputes. But justice is derived from the procedure by which we implement those laws and by the way we resolve those disputes. We cannot have justice if we will not allow people due process, if we will not expect our elected officials, and particularly our judges, to adhere to the rule of law, to afford transparency. More than of particular importance is to be willing to be held accountable, to be willing to stand up and welcome constructive criticism so that they can grow and learn and understand, because none of us is perfect, not even judges. And judges don't get to define the law, the truth for people. Judges get to decide what the facts and the evidence under the law support as the best conclusion about what the truth is. So it doesn't define the truth. It merely is a process by which an individual who's entrusted with that position can say, based on everybody having a chance to come forward and put forth their evidence, to the best of my ability, this is what I think happened, and this is what I think is the best way to resolve this dispute. That's what judges do. For a judge to think that they are the ultimate and final arbiter of what is true is sheer hubris. And there is no place for it in our justice system. None. Now, I am in trouble with the ODC, Austin Disciplinary Council, because I stood up publicly and reached out to my fellow Americans and said, please tell two judges that they must look at the evidence and apply the law before they make a decision. And the ODC has said that doing that is contrary to the effective administration of justice. Now I say to you that if we don't have a justice system that demands that judges look at the evidence and apply the law before they make a decision that will affect the lives of two very young children, then we don't have a justice system. We have something else. And if that's the justice system that the ODC envisions and tells me I have to abide by in order to practice law, I don't want to be a part of that system. I will not sacrifice my integrity just to keep a license that means that I then have to throw my client under the bus and tell them that because the judge won't abide by the law, because the judge isn't held to the letter of the law, because the judge has the power to ignore it, and she's just out of luck, and I don't want to get in trouble with the judge because then I won't be able to throw some other client under the bus and continue to make a living doing it. Won't do it. Not going to do it. Okay. So the ODC has also said that I made false and misleading statements about motions to recuse Judge Amacker, and I am going to tell you that is categorically false, untrue, didn't happen. I made no false statements. I don't know about misleading. I think that's something that people decide upon themselves what's misleading, but I certainly didn't make any deliberately misleading statements, and I made 0 false statements. And I just want to tell you that the ODC is only one step in this process, and it's very common for the ODC to make a very political recommendation based on connections that it has with people involved in the proceedings, and for the LADD and the Supreme Court to do something entirely different. So please don't make up your mind based on what the ODC said. And if you really have questions about it, you can either read all the documents themselves, not just the recommendation, but all of the documents, or you can ask me. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. And on November 4, 2014, please make an informed decision about the kind of family law you want for your children and your families. Thank you.
Thank you very much.